page and uncheck the box if you consent to receive your APD payroll stub electronically. You will not receive any future paper version of your APD payroll stub. You agree to be responsible to print all copies necessary. If you do not consent to receive your APD payroll stub electronically, you will receive a paper version of any future APD payroll stubs. As you can see, this is why we are trying to understand payroll, HR, and accounting motives. What is going on? Why is it that those in charge of payroll continue to neglect their duties and treat employees of this district with disrespect and discontent? We are not the enemy, but rather a big part of this community, district, and Farmersville family. An entity that is only trying to help and shape the future by teaching these children to become responsible, productive citizens. As our 16th president, Abraham Lincoln, once stated, a house divided against itself cannot stand.
Regarding agenda items 13.6 and 13.11, Julie McIntosh.
The live stream is on mute or there's no sound.
Oh, no sound.
Can fix that? You did? Oh, thank you.
Good evening, board members, FUSD employees, parents, and community members. My name is Julie McIntosh, and I'm president of the Farmersville Teachers Association. Lately, and especially this last school year, let's be honest, relations between the employees and FUSD have been a mess. 4 teachers who have been involved in the union for over 20 years could not think of any grievances that had gone beyond the informal talks between the administrator and the employee until last year, when we had 3 grievances that went to mediation and another that was not solved until the superintendent stepped in. There's been an unfair labor practice charge filed against the district. Several employees have felt the need to speak to the board about problems in the district at almost every board meeting since February, and only sometimes were these remarks about salary. Speaking of salary, the contract negotiations between FUSD and FDA were not able to be resolved until a state mediator stepped in, again for the first time in over 20 years, to my knowledge on that one. There has been backstabbing, gossip, and a lack of trust all over the district. Things are a mess. Who is to blame? FTA has brought the issues to your attention, and for the most part, declining to point fingers. Even tonight, we're not going to call out who we feel is the root of the problem. I will simply provide you with some of the information you feel you need to make this decision. So, you are being asked to play the blame game, unfortunately. You have 3 doors to choose from. Behind the first door is myself. You may have heard the explanation or even have thought yourself that everything was going fine until I started to get involved. Past union leadership did not, quote, cause all these problems, and it wasn't until I started speaking up that things became a mess. The question is, did things become a mess when I got involved, or did I get involved when things started falling apart in order to help? In answer to this question, I'd like you to consider that I've been working for the school district for 22 years. In all that time, I have only been actively involved in board meetings during one other time period. And at that time, I was speaking in defense of the superintendent, who was being unfairly treated by a school board that had gone so rogue that the public felt the need to recall them. For the rest of the 22 years, I have sat back and been uninvolved with board business. That is not the history of a troublemaker. Behind the second door are people who have recently left the district. The union is of the opinion that some of the people who have recently left the district either participated in or allowed others to participate in actions that led to many of the problems we have had. However, if these people were solely to blame, then all the problems should be over. Behind the last door are employees who are making current decisions. Let me tell you what has happened in the 7 days since the previous administration was last in charge. There's one issue that should have been a grievance, but since that involved violations against an employee who was already involved in the current unfair labor practice charge that is scheduled to begin hearings this fall, the issue was rolled over into that charge, making that PERB case stronger. This issue was regarding a teacher who was involuntarily transferred in violation of the provisions of our contract governing that procedure. Second, there is an issue before the board tonight where I believe it was, maybe that wasn't moved to closed session. Let's see, not that one. Where the administration has once again asked you to approve a candidate's waiver that involves a violation of the contract's hiring provisions and seniority. If that is approved tonight, a grievance will be filed in the next few days. That is 2 grievable contract violations in 7 days, not counting the weekend. That does not speak well for the current leadership. That being said, the union is cautiously optimistic about the superintendent finalist. If he is who he says he is, I can see issues between the district and the teachers dropping off considerably. In your decision tonight, I urge you to trust the process and trust your instincts that led you to choose this candidate. Trust that the over $18,000 expended for professional consultants was well spent. If anyone tells you otherwise, please do not act without checking primary sources for the validity of the information presented to you before choosing otherwise. Thank you.
Also regarding 13.11, Heidi Jaramillo.
Good evening. Good evening, board. I am Heidi Jaramillo, kindergarten teacher at Hester Elementary, and I love being a kindergarten teacher, and I love my kids, if you know me. I want to talk about true leadership tonight. I have to read what I wrote because I'll go off. I'll continue on. True leadership that inspires us to maximize our full potential as educators and as human beings is overdue. We deserve humble leadership that knows true leaders are the ones that work the hardest and give the most. A leader that will help us row the canoe instead of ineffective leadership that will sit on the bow and add more weight. A leader that has the compassion and understanding of how it feels to be on the bottom, hands in the soil, knows the struggle of beginning life in poverty and being overlooked, but has the courageous heart and the strength to find a way to rise and help others. Those type of experiences mold a person to lead in a way that sees and hears everyone, provides a multifaceted approach that can see all sides and make decisions with humility for the best benefit of everyone, for the best benefit of those that we love most, our kids. This town was the first self-help town in California. Pictures of it in Sacramento. Citizens who came from impoverishment, they worked together to build the community. They built this community as neighbors to help each other build homes. They laid the foundation that is the heart of this community. This community deserves leadership that connects to them culturally, linguistically, and provides the example that hard work, dogged determination, heart, compassion can help them achieve things that they might think that are out of their reach. I speak having 16 years in the district at Hester and kindergarten, and from coming from the bottom myself. I've seen many superintendents come and go, board members, administrators come and go. In the past, I've seen leadership in the district that I respected and admired. Leadership that makes me want to work hard, to come to work every day and feel like I'm doing something that matters. Leadership that makes me feel like I'm doing something important. That is what I ask for. And I know I'm not the only one that feels this way. I believe we all do. We want to have purpose and know that we're supported. One thing that Dr. Chavez said that really spoke out when he defined respect, he said to see again, to see someone again. Don't we all need that? Doesn't everybody in this world, in this room too, want to be seen again? Don't we want to be seen for the things that we have to offer? And isn't it frustrating Isn't it frustrating when we have so much to offer that isn't being utilized in the way that it should be to maximize the full potential of what things could be? That's what I ask for, and that's what I want. We want to know that we're to be guided in a positive way, not in a punitive way. We want to be guided in a way that instead has purpose. I believe Dr. Chavez gives us this hope, and he might be able to bring all of us together in a way for the best benefit of our kids. Don't we want that? Don't we want to all come together? We have a community and we have kids that deserve that. We need to hire him immediately.
Also regarding 1311, Janie Hernandez.
Oh, I need my glasses. I'm getting older. All right, good evening to the board and the employees and the public. I am Janie Hernandez, third grade teacher at Snowden, and I represent FTA. Recent events have shaken our confidence in the district leadership, to say the least. Rather than creating an environment of respect and fairness, district leadership has made and carried out decisions to the contrary. You, as the Farmersville Unified School District Board, chose Dr. Sergio Chavez as the superintendent finalist for a reason. We believe that you have made a good choice. He has the knowledge, experience, and approach to lead us in working together to support our students. On our first day back to school, we heard him and believed him. He stated how he is from working. He stated how he stands for respect. He stated how serving students is to be our main goal. To fulfill that goal, he spoke to the classified staff and acknowledged them for the importance of their contribution. To fulfill that goal, he then spoke to the certificated staff and gave similar acknowledgement of how we are valuable. The right thing to do is to stand for our students. The right thing to do is to stand for those who directly impact our students. The right thing to do is to confirm your choice of Dr. Sergio Chavez as superintendent of the Farmersville Unified School District. Do the right thing.
Next, regarding items 1311 and 1312, Laura Anaya.
Hey, my name is Laura Naya, and I represent the Farmersville Unified Teachers Association. Good evening to the board, administrators, as teachers, classified staff, parents, and community. Although I'm at risk of being targeted and retaliated against again, I felt this was important enough for me to get up and speak to you tonight. Why are all these people here tonight in particular? It boils down to an issue of trust, or actually, in this case, a lack of trust. Author Stephen Covey says, "We judge ourselves by our intentions and others by their behavior." All of these people are here tonight because they have lost trust in the current acting leadership on the basis of their actions since they have come into the district. We are here because we are concerned about the agenda items 13.12, granting the executive director of personnel duties as acting superintendent. The first concern is that time as interim superintendent will be used as a window to complete unpopular terminations of certain employees. If any of those terminations are proposed, we urge you again to leave such actions to the incoming superintendent. The second concern is based on the proposed extension of the executive director of personnel duties as interim superintendent, as stated in the agenda, as the attached contract includes an employee period of August 11th, 2022, until a superintendent begins contract employment. The actual contract stating, but in no case later than August 31st, 2022, was omitted from the original posting online materials of this meeting. If that had been posted originally, you would most likely have seen many fewer people here tonight. Our concern is that the current acting administration would recommend the refusal of the current superintendent candidate and then begin acting superintendent indefinitely until one was hired. It has been suggested that it was ridiculous to even think that such an action was planned. However, as stated in the beginning of these remarks, we judge others by their behavior. We have all become conditioned to look at all the possibilities and imagining the most unpleasant outcome when dealing with the acting administration. This is based on experiences with the observations of actual actions. So what do we recommend? Are we left with any actual concerns? If the proposed superintendent finalist is not available to start immediately, we urge you to look around to see if there's an alternative to the current acting superintendent. It would be much better. It would be much better to have an interim superintendent that people trust and who will not be the catalyst for a bunch of new problems. Look around. Do we have a senior administrator in the district office whom the community trusts? Who is from this community? Who has an infinite number of ties to the community through family and lifetime relationships? Who has maintained excellent relationships with both unions? Whose actions have led people to develop trust over time and experiences? We recommend such a person as interim superintendent if it is necessary due to the current candidate not being able to start right away. I will end with one final quote from Stephen Covey. The first job of a leader at work or at home is to inspire trust. It's to bring out the best in people by entrusting them with meaningful stewardships and to create an environment in which high trust interaction inspires creativity and possibility. Thank you.
Regarding items 13.9 through 13.12, Audrey Westbrook.
Good evening to the community, parents, students, employees, and of course our board. I'm Audrey Westbrook and I'm an ag teacher at Farmersville High School and I represent Farmersville Teachers Association. I'm here to give you an updated progress statement on the fees the district has been spending on attorneys. The chart that's being handed out to us, the warrants paid out by the district to the district's attorneys and approved by the board since August 27th, 2020. The total listed in that 2 years is, hold on to your pants, $336,764. That is $113,000, I'm not a number person, $113,747 for the 2021 school year and $223,016 last year alone. Just this month, $59,187.22 was paid. Why is the district spending this much money on attorneys? For the 2020-2021 school year, a larger district, Lindsay, budgeted under $70,000 for last year. 1 year. We spent almost twice that in 2020-2021 and almost 5 times that amount last year. Once again, to repeat what we said in the spring, we can tell you and give you an idea of some things that this $336,764 was not available to be spent on once it had been spent on those lawyer fees. It is not available to be spent on new playgrounds. It is not available to be spent on instructional materials for our students that they deserve. It is not available to be spent on new buses. It is not available to be spent on new facilities the district is so excited about. It is not available to be spent on new cafeteria tables and a new bell system at the junior high. It is not available to be spent on a new scoreboard at the high school. It's not available to be spent on a new phone system for all the sites in the district that keep going offline. And lastly, it definitely was not available to be spent on giving the FUSD staff, classified and certificated, the raise they deserve. So I guess what FTA really wants to know is if we were doing what is best for the whole entire district, would all of this money need to have spent on attorneys the last 2 years? I urge the board to make inquiries into the details of the attorney invoices that make up this $336,764. Ask yourself, why are we giving raises to the people who are making the decisions that are costing the district so much money? If you figure it out, could you please let us know? Thank you.
Concerning concerns with the interim superintendent, the only name here is Luis.
Hi, my name is Luis Gutierrez. I don't know if you guys remember me. In December, I had an issue with Mr. Wimp regarding my students in independent study. There was a whole investigation that was done on with an attorney that was hired. I had to hire my own attorney, spend money out of my pocket to defend myself, my children's education. And it turns out that it was all made up of lies. I don't know if any of you guys have seen the report. It's all BS, in my opinion. And it was never addressed of my kids being kicked out of school illegally. It was against the law. Mr. Sevillano admitted to me on a phone call that it was against the law. He kicked them out of school. I also had another employee, a principal, admit to me that it was at his direction to kick my kids out of school, simply because I asked for independent study while we were out of the country where there was no internet. And the letter stated to contact Dr. Sevillano to address the issue. Well, guess who's in his place? So there's nobody to contact. So that's why I'm here today to talk to you guys about it. And I just want some resolution. It seems like my children's education does not matter to you guys. There's nothing that you guys have done. Seems like you guys have given them a raise, given them a promotion, which I don't understand, which is really confusing. And I'm sure a bunch of the other parents and teachers and everybody else is confused about it. And we'd like some answers. It's starting to be apparent that if it's not all of you guys, it's at least 3 of you guys that are the problem up there, the school board. And I'm sure the community will remember this when you guys are up for re-election. So this man has no place in the school district working for it. Just the way he flies off the handle, turns bright red, kind of like he is right now. He has no place in the school district, and it's a complete joke. It's obvious that our kids' education does not matter to you guys, and you guys are here for one reason: to line your pockets, give your guys self-promotions. And I don't care if you guys retaliate against me or whatever you guys try to do. I'm ready for it. So.
concerns about the CTE program, Ricardo Gonzalez.
Good evening, teachers, parents, future welders, board. I would like to address the board concerning the status of the welding department and the NCCR trade school that you have at Farmersville High School. Okay. Our program is an accredited school. It's a trade school, and we have to treat it like a trade school, meaning we need to follow the rules and regulations of that school. I'm an administrator, Mrs. Coop is an administrator, and we work together. The problem we're having is that the board has money twice now to provide these students with welding booths, and they haven't got them. Our program is impacted richly. There's people that want to learn welding. They want to learn carpentry. They want to learn a skill, and they want to be certified for that. And we can't do that if you don't provide a facility that enables these kids to do that. Now, this young lady over here, that her child got missed, it was because of training, and it's because the board had their own conception of what they wanted. You can't have a man go into a program and do this program, and this program, and be able to get these kids through the core curriculum. It doesn't work that way. They need 2 periods to be able to get to that curriculum, not 1 period. You want to educate these young men, you need to give them what they need. They need a shop. They need a welding machine. They need a booth. We have probably 40 certified welders that have come out of Farmersville High School. We have students that are we have people that have been out of that program that are making $28, $30 an hour. One gentleman's getting ready to buy a house. Another one graduated last year, and he's bought him a new Honda car because he has a job. He's found it. He's got the skills to do what it takes to go into the industry right out of school. He can go to college. That's the training we want to give our kids. And if we don't get the backing of the board to give us the equipment we need, we're not going to be able to teach these kids anything. And I apologize to this lady over there because you know what? That instructor tried his best. But you know what? He needs a little bit more training. And with a little bit more training, he will get there. But you know, exactly. When you have a person trying to do 3 things, trying to juggle and trying to be able to get all these students where they need to be, there's going to be a failure there. There's going to be something that's going to drop out, and then, there's going to be kids that aren't going to be able to get there. Now, I want to tell you something. Miss Coop and I, we talked. I'm willing to give up my prep time and get these kids in there and get them where they need to be. I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. Okay?
I really appreciate that, and I really appreciate the fact that you're looking up the students. The fact that they're here shows that they want to do something, that they want to grow up and actually do something with their life. They're not out there on the streets. They're not out there causing problems. They're actually working on themselves. They're actually wanting to go ahead and make something of themselves. And it's kind of stupid that we have an order here that is not supporting them. We have the board here that is only looking at them as a money sign. It's not fair. The district has money, they get funds, and it's for them, not for the board, for the students.
Thank you. I'd like to address one more thing. Those young men over there are COVID. Those are the COVID kids that persevere. They did their exams. We used to walk over across the street over there to the park, and we took exams, and we kept on them to make sure that, COVID wasn't going to stop us. It wasn't gonna stop us. We're gonna continue on, and we're gonna fight for education here. And I hope the board will get this right this time. We need the equipment. We can't be putting 100 kids in my class and saying, oh yeah, we can get you through. I don't lie to kids. I'm not gonna start lying to the kids. I'm not gonna make any exceptions. We need to get that equipment.
Concerning human resource policies, Candace Nilo.
Hello, board, staff, and parents. My name is Candace Nilo. I'm a parent to 4 kids at the Farmersville School District. At the end of last year's school year, I recognized a female substitute that was with my child from my childhood, whom I remember was arrested and charged with the criminal charge of sexual intercourse with a minor. The substitute aide, by the name of Stephanie Esparza, her married name is Stephanie Garza, had a child with a minor that was the age of 14. I knew him personally. I brought it immediately to the attention of the principal with my concerns. I did not feel she was fit to work with my child, let alone at any school. Mr. Villarreal listened to my concerns and took it highly seriously. I really appreciate that. And he pointed me to the director of Jeff Wimp, who was in charge of calling her and hiring her. At that time, I pulled up public record of the substitute from the Tulare County Courthouse website at the Superior Court, which I will provide to the school board with my letter. I left a message for Jeff Wimp. He contacted me back and basically showed no care to hear me out completely. It was a very quick conversation. Jeff Wimp stated to me when I told him my concerns, well, I have her DOG clearance in front of me. I want to state this, that just because laws have changed now in California and certain felonies can be reduced to misdemeanors, certain charges can be dismissed and get clear fingerprints. A charge like that is not somebody that should work with our children. Mr. Wimp simply stated to me, okay, well, there wasn't much concern or asked me where I got this information or let me fully explain. That was the end of our conversation. I had hoped that he would take care of it or at least investigate. The following week, I was notified that my child's aide could not make it to school and he would have a substitute meet him at the gate. My son is in special education. He barely talks and he struggles. I was shocked to see that Stephanie was still scheduled with my child and was there waiting for him. I left with my child that day. To my surprise, after speaking with Mr. Villarreal about why she was still there, I was promised she would no longer be at Hester, and I thought the problem was solved then. Well, Stephanie was scheduled at other school sites until the very last day of school. When I went into Farmersville Unified School District to leave a letter regarding my last speech at a school board meeting, she was actually there picking up her paycheck. This is highly unacceptable. I feel that Jeff Wimp should have taken action, and even if she had a clear DOJ record, you know, there's policies you could place somebody on leave, investigate it. It's not hard to pull up the Tulare County website, it's public record. He was rude and completely unapologetic, and I never heard from him again about it. This is a sensitive subject, and I just feel this is something that everybody should be aware of. And if anybody would like to look into it, you can Google Tulare County Superior Court website, make yourself a login, and the case number is VCM 081976-01, public record. Thank you.
Last but not least, special education sexual misconduct, Faye DePorto.
Hello. First of all, I want to know how many parents are here. because we need more parents here, because first of all, these teachers cannot do their job if they don't have enough teachers' aides helping them. We put a lot of stuff on these teachers, and there are a lot of good teachers here. I mean, honestly, when this pandemic hit, I think that everyone should have, or in Hester should have followed Miss Simon and Miss Thatcher's lead on it, on curriculum, because I mean, I was so disappointed when we went back onto the computer because they had it like within a week and they gave it all to us. But there are some really good teachers who are not giving the credit that they need. And with that comes with the special education. They're struggling. They have kids who need help, and they have kids who are, you know, gate kids. And yet they can't get the help for both at all. And when we go to the teachers, or when we go to the principals, when we go to everyone, they're saying there's nothing they can do. But yet my own grandson fell behind because I don't know if you guys have a new super education, the director, but she refused to schedule an appointment. It took the whole year and they still haven't gotten it scheduled. So he's still there, not with an IEP, not with the 504, but all these kids are in school needing 504s and needing IEPs, and they don't have help. They don't have the correct help. And there's a lot of parents, and I think more parents need to be here because there's so many parents who are frustrated. And my grandkids are in Hester School, but I pulled them because there was 2 incidents of sexual misconduct with my 5-year-old. She dealt with sexual misconduct in kindergarten at 5 years old, and nobody did anything. It took me going to the superintendent. When I went and I got a phone call, I went to Mr. Villarreal, and what he told me, and he told the teacher not to contact me. He would do it. Took 2 days. He still didn't contact me. I had to call every hour. I was on the phone, found out what happened. Well, it was the 3rd time this little boy followed my granddaughter into the restroom. The 3rd time he went under the stall when she had her underwear down, her clothes down, and he needed he needed an aide there. He did not have an aide because the special education department is slacking in making these appointments, hiring these teachers' aides, being there for these children. So my granddaughter got stuck in the mix of all of this. Second one was she was sliding. This is the same granddaughter. She was sliding down the slide. A little boy literally put his body on top of hers, laid on her. And she felt so comfortable with Miss Ochoa. She went over there to Miss Ochoa, told her what happened. She brushed it off. Took a week. I finally said, you know what the heck is wrong with you? You are a mother. You are an educator. You are an adult. You are a woman. Why are you changing my granddaughter's story? And why aren't you doing something about this? So the end result was I pulled my kids. I pulled them. I don't think Mr. Villarreal is good enough to principal my grandchildren. So now we're homeschooling them because nothing got done. My granddaughter is 5 years old and dealt with two things of sexual misconduct at Hester School, and nothing got done about it. Nothing. Instead, when I brought it to the superintendent, I didn't send her to school, first of all. I said, nope, not until I have a meeting, not until I know she's safe, she's not safe. Third thing was the new social worker grabbed her, put her hands on her, grabbed her, yanked her, took her to Mr. Villarreal's because she was had a stamp, it was stamping on herself and a child, acted like it was the end of the world for my granddaughter. And I said, you ever put your hands on her again, I will press charges on you. We pressed charges on teachers before, we will do it again. You're not touching my kid. So the thing is we need special education to get better. We need someone who gives a crap about our kids. We need someone who cares about our teachers. We need someone who knows just because they're teachers and educated doesn't mean they can always handle 20 freaking kids all the time, especially if 5 of them are jumping up and jumping off the walls. And honestly, my granddaughter was one of them. In the end, I got a hold of the teacher got a hold of me. I said, I'm so sorry. And even my granddaughter tells me, Grandma, I don't know how I got bad in school. I don't know what I did. Turns out she was diagnosed with ADHD. So we work closely. I understand a lot of parents don't work closely with the teachers. You tell me something about my kid, I hear you. I listen. We speak to the kid. We'll go sit there. We will do whatever it takes. But that care and that willingness to work with the staff at Hester was not reciprocated at all. So with that, we pulled our kids. We're homeschooling better. We're excited. We're happy. Our kids are like, why? They know why. To this day, there was nothing done. Only Mr. Sevillano finally took care of it. We sent her back, but sometimes it's not a safe place. And it's not a safe place if parents and teachers can't come together because there's so much things going on with the school board that teachers are scared to step up. Teachers are worried about losing their jobs. You know, teachers are like, oh, we're going to get reprimanded. Are we going to get our paycheck? And all of a sudden going to get lost just because they're stepping up for themselves to get help or for a child. It's wrong. And no teacher should have to go through that. No person should have to go through that. But in the end, it's about these kids. These kids are suffering because teachers are frustrated. They're not getting their paychecks. Teachers are frustrated because people are coming against them. And I don't know if it's true about Mr. Wimp, of what he's doing, but parents need to remember, we as parents of Farmersville, we have power. We come from the time we have recalled superintendents. We have recalled board members if they're not doing what we feel that should be done for our children and for the staff. So I think parents, you guys need to step up and remember the power we have. And it is not just here in the school board. It is not just there. You fight. Get these people who removed who are not caring.
That's all? Okay. Eight point one, interim superintendent's comments.
Good evening. I would like to start by thanking Board President Jorge Vasquez, Board Clerk John Alvarez, Trustee Isamar Hernandez, Trustee Alice Lopez, and Trustee John Vasquez for the privilege, and I do say privilege, of serving as the interim superintendent during this time of transition. I'm happy to report that the first 2 days of school have run smoothly. Each campus was well prepared with their systems in place and operating efficiently. I had the honor of walking classrooms with a few of you, along with Dr. Sergio Chavez, on Monday, where we were blessed to see teachers who truly care, staff who are supportive, students who were excited to be back in classrooms, not all of them, there were a few tears, and campuses that were ready for a great year ahead. Monday, we welcomed 2,272 students back on the campuses. Today, we saw that number increase to 2,337. Farmersville Unified is primed to charge ahead into a new season with a new vision and a new leader. We are prepared to meet the needs of our community, our stakeholders, and most importantly, our students. Thank you to the amazing staff of teachers who go above and beyond, to the awesome classified staff who serve with distinction, and to the leaders of our campuses, departments, and services who stand in the gap every day. And may Farmersville Unified and their 2022-2023 school year be blessed and highly favored. Thank you.
10.0, K through 8 issues. 10.1, approval of signature revisions to Farmersville Junior High ASB account.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0.
They can get out of there now. I don't think they can get out that way.
Can you close that door? Why is he stopping?
Why are you stopping?
Why is he stopping? 11.0, high school issues. 11.1, approval of American Ambulance Visalia football contract.
Move.
Motion by John Alvarez,
Oh, I thought it was me, but I'll second it.
second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Eleven point two, approval of memorandum of understanding MOU between Farmersville Unified School District, Farmersville Adult School, and Mathematica, Inc.
Motion.
Move, second.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 12.0 curriculum. 12.1, approval of renewal agreements for the 2022-2023 school year with Tulare County Office of Education regarding intervention resource classroom.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 12.2, approval of agreement with ERC Data Solutions.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thirteen personnel. 13.1, approval of certificated personnel, items 13.1.1 through items 13.1.3.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 13.2, approval of classified personnel, items 13.2.1 through items 13.2.3.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 13.3, approval of extracurricular activities, coaching personnel, items 13.3.1 through items 13.3.2.
Motion.
Second.
Can you guys be a little bit louder, please? Was that Mr. Alvarez?
Yes.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. (13.4) Personnel Action Report, information only. (13.5) Approval of bilingual authorization waiver to teach dual immersion for Cassandra?
Carissa.
Carissa Mesqual Sanchez.
Move.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
4-0-1. (13.6) Approval of variable term waiver for single subject teaching credential for Sean Knox.
Move.
Motion by John Vasquez. Is there a second?
I move to table this until pending discussion.
You can take this into closed session as well, right?
Close session.
Take that into closed session.
Closed session?
Yes.
Okay.
Why you guys don't want to? We will be the football coach.
13.7, approval of provisional internship permit for multiple subjects credential. Leticia Barrios.
Move. Second.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 13.8, approval of interim cafeteria manager.
Move.
Second.
Was that you, Ms. Lopez?
Yes, sir.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thirteen point nine, approval of executive director of personnel contract.
Can we also take this one to closed session, please?
Okay. 13.10, approval of amended business management CBO contract.
Close session.
Okay. 13.11, 13.12 are both in closed session. 14.0, board business. 14.1, consideration of any item any board member wishes to have on a future agenda or provide written update. Ms. Lopez.
Yes, Mr. John Vasquez and I were very big proponents of the CTE program, and we were instrumental in bringing it. So we also know that not too long ago, there was a request made for additional well-being booths, and I'm not sure we ever got that information. So if we can get some information on that?
Yeah, we can provide that in the Friday letter.
Mr. Vasquez?
Nothing at this time.
Ms. Hernandez?
2 items. Can we look to see the efficiency of the entrance at Hester and why there's issues with that, and what could possibly make it better if there are issues with it? And the second item that I would like looked into is bringing Cte back to the district. I think that it's important that our parents participate more in our process, and I think that Cte is a good way to do that. So if we could look into bringing them back, I don't know if it's possible for this year, but could we get that started, please?
Absolutely. Thank you.
And that's
Mr. Alvarez?
I'm in line with Alice and John, but I'm concerned about all of the CT programs. So if we can get a overall assessment of what is needed and bring that all back, and let's take care of all the kids at one time if we could.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Okay. Along with them, I'm very concerned with the CTE programs. Can you get with the administrator, the counselors, and figure out what's going on with the placements of our students? So that way, to figure out how to best address this and be able to figure out and help them for the school year?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. 15.0, business services. 15.1, approval of American Inc. bid for Farmersville High School Central Plant HVAC replacement project.
Motion.
Second, to go with the recommendation?
Is that your motion, Mr. Alvarez?
To approve the bid, and the second one is a contract.
Okay.
Well, the first one is,
The bid.
The bid.
Approve the
bid.
bid.
so you're going with a recommendation?
Yes.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 15.2, approval American Inc. contract for Farmersville High School Central Plant HVAC replacement project.
Motion.
Second.
Motion by John Alvarez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Fifteen point three, approval of student accident insurance.
Move.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Other business. 16.1, strategic plan outline for Farmersville Unified, information only. 17.0, future meeting date. 17.1, August 23, 2022, September 13, 2022.
Mr. President, I forgot to mention that maybe we need to set regular meetings in those months right before school starts, so it will cut down on some of the special meetings that we have.
For June and July,
Yes,
to add an additional board meeting on each month, one
well,
on the calendar,
we'll
right?
go to two
Go to two
each
on those
month like we
months
normally do.
to alleviate us from having special board meetings.
Yes.
Can you look into that?
Yeah.
Thank you. 19.0, policies, administrations, and regulations. 19.1, first reading, BP/AR 9210, board members' participation in schools, campus visitations. 20.0, adjournment to closed session at 8:19. 21.1, public employee discipline dismissal release complaint, Government Code 54957. 20.2, conference with legal counsel, anticipation litigation, Government Code Section 54956.9, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D of Section 54956.9. 20.3, conference with labor negotiators, Government Codes 54957.6. It is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its positions and instruct its designated representatives. Agency designated representatives, Jeff Wimp, Jason Caff. Name of organizations, FTA, CSEA, and management. 20.4, public employee employment, title superintendent and interim superintendent, Government Code Section 54957. 20.5, conference with real property negotiators, Government Code 54956.8. Agency negotiator, Brian Martin, attorney, AALRR. Under negotiations, price and terms. Thank you.
Oh, the joy, the joy.
Okay, we're back in open session at 9:11 PM. We're going back to closed session items that were taken into closed session. We're going back to 13.6. Approval of variable term waiver for single subject teaching credential for Sean Knox.
Second.
Motion by John Vasquez, second by Alice Lopez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain?
401. Okay, we're going back to 13.9, approval of executive director and personnel contract.
This is a ratification of Executive Director of Personnel Contract, and I make the motion.
Motion by Alice Lopez,
Second.
second by John Vasquez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. 13.10, approval of amended business manager CBO contract.
This also is a ratification, and I'll make the motion.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Vasquez. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thirteen point 11, approval of the superintendent contract.
Motion,
Everybody motion?
yes.
And I second it.
You second? All right, so who wants to take the motion?
I'll give it to Isamar.
All right, it's Samar Hernandez motion. Who's taking second?
John Boss.
John.
John Vasquez. Okay, motion by Ismar Hernandez, second by John Vasquez. Any questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. At this moment, I'm going to take a moment of privilege. I am pleased that my colleagues and I have completed the process of selecting and hiring our next superintendent, Dr. Chavez. I want to thank the community, the teachers, the staff for their role in the process, as well as my fellow board members. We would like to have Dr. Chavez to have started on the 15th, but because of his dedication and pending responsibilities at his current district, Santa Ana Unified, we do not expect him to be here before September 1st. We appreciate that Santa Ana Unified will allow Dr. Chavez to have some release dates to begin his transition before September 1st. In the meantime, Mr. Jeff Wimp, the Executive Director of Personnel, will continue to serve as interim superintendent until August 14, 2022. We are looking to bring in a retired superintendent around August 15 to serve as the interim and to help the transition of superintendent responsibilities to Dr. Chavez. I hope you had a chance to meet Dr. Chavez, who was here on the Monday, the first day of the start of the school year. And when you do meet him, if you haven't, please give him a warm welcome and express your support. Okay, so now we're going to 13.12, approval of interim superintendent's contract.
Move.
Motion by Alice Lopez,
No second.
second by John Vasquez. Is there a motion for compensation on a daily rate?
20%.
Mr. Vasquez?
I'll stay with that motion,
Okay,
or second with that motion, excuse me.
thank you. Is there any other questions? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Okay, we're going back to 21.0, actions taken in closed session items. 21.1, public employee dismissal, discipline from release complaint, government code 54957. No action taken. 21.2, conference with legal counsel, anticipation litigation, government code section 54956.9, significant exposure to litigation pursuant to subdivision D of section 54956.9, no action taken. 21.3, conference with labor negotiators, government code 54957.6. It is the intention of the board to meet in closed session to review its position and instruct its designated reps, agency designated reps, Jeff Wimp, Jason Caff, name of organizations, FTA, CSEA management, no action taken. 21.4, public employee employment, title superintendent, interim superintendent,
We've already,
yes. We already took action. 21.5, conference with real property negotiators, government code 54956.8. Agency negotiators, Brian Martin, attorney LLRR. Under negotiations, plans and terms, no action taken. 22.0, adjournment at 9:18 p.m.
move.
Second.
Motion by Alice Lopez, second by John Alvarez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Thank you. Have a good night.
Jorge. Mr. Vasquez.
Yes.
Other Vasquez.